Hey nerds, we are going to do a review and breakdown of Agatha All Along, episode 5, starting now. Welcome to the Nerd Social. I am Colin. So this episode is titled Darkest Hour, Wake Thy Power. And it's directed by Rachel Goldberg and written by Laura Monti. And the spoiler-free logline of this episode is, with enemies closing in, the coven flees under the light of a blood moon to the next ghastly trial. So my impressions of this episode is that it was really quick. I was just at the edge of my seat for most of it. It seems as though they wanted to move the plot along. And in a lot of cases, episode 5 for DisneyPlus has always been the one that everyone talks about. If you're talking about either Star Wars or any of the Marvel TV shows, episode 5 is the one that everything goes to heck. And this is no different here. And I found it to be a very enjoyable ride. There are some really big reveals that come along in this episode, and it sets it up very well for the next subsequent episodes that we will see near the end. So there's episode 6, which is going to be next week, and then there's going to be 7 and 8, which is going to be combined right before Halloween. There's been rumors that this is the second part of WandaVision, and then there's going to be another part called Vision Quest, but we don't really know how that's going to transpire. They haven't really said anything about that yet, but in any case, I think it sets it up very well. I think that it was a very dark episode. There was a lot of the horror elements that you probably saw in the trailers you get to see in this episode. In terms of rating, I would probably give it a 9, which is a movie marathon, because I really think that it deserved that type of treatment. And I'm really looking forward to the next few episodes of Agatha, because it's really getting good right now. So if you like what I have to say about Agatha All Along, episode 5, and other episodes of Agatha and other content that we put out, please like, share, subscribe for more. We really appreciate your support, and we are trying to grow as a channel. Without further ado, spoilers ahead. So let's take a look at the first scene, which is a recap of the Salem 7. And so we saw this in the very first episode of Agatha All Along. And also it gives Rio gives some more context as to who they are in general. They happen to be the offspring of the coven that Agatha killed and took the powers way back in Salem, and it shows a flashback of that happening here. And so the Salem 7 have been chasing Agatha throughout the trials, and we saw them in the previous episodes chasing them from one of the houses as well. So it's been a very interesting cat and mouse game between the Salem 7 and Agatha and her new coven right now. And so we see here they are running away from the coven, but they find out that they're both surrounded by a wolf and also the Salem 7, so they didn't know what they were going to do here. Teen suggested that they get to fly with brooms. And so a lot of the coven was very against that, because they felt that it's very basic and it's a very stereotypical thing to do. I think that Lilia said that it was co-opted by the holiday, Halloween, so it wasn't really good for them to do it, but they really had no choice. They were desperate, so they were just going to follow Teen's plan no matter what. And it leads to this very beautiful scene of them flying through the red moon, and it's really cool, really stunning visual here. And there were a lot of visuals that were really good, and special effects that were really good throughout this episode, which I have to give kudos to. And then they find out that this is going to be the third trial that they're going in. It's very interesting that the spoiler-free logline did not present this as a third trial, but they present another house, and so this is another theme. The previous episode we saw was a more 70s disco theme. This is more of an 80s theme with the workout clothes, especially on Agatha and also on Teen with the fanny pack. You also see Lilia's looking like a golden girl here, which is pretty interesting. And then we get to see that they start playing a game on the Ouija board. So it's very interesting that they were able to incorporate that element, because Ouija is actually one of the movies. I think they came out 15 years ago, and they get to figure out from this Ouija board that they're going to have to punish Agatha. What happened after that was Agatha's mom showed up, and her mom, Evanora, said that you killed me, and she's pretty much trying to punish her by keeping her in the house. Teen is basically saying, we can't leave her here. We have to save her. And so Teen is still very naive, and it leads to a confrontation between Evanora and also some of the coven. There was a scene right out of the Ring movie. I think you saw this in the trailer where she contorts her body and basically attacks them and chases after them, which is really cool effect there. Then we get to see that Alice here was trying to fight Agatha, but what happened was that Agatha absorbed her magic and died off at the end here. Teen basically was able to shut off Agatha by shouting the spirit's name, which was Agatha's son named Nicholas Scratch. That's what made her stop, but unfortunately, Alice was not able to live at this point. We also get to see that there's an evolution for Teen because Teen becomes much more disillusioned about what Agatha has done, knowing that she killed one of the coven members, and also Agatha was trying to manipulate him all along. No pun intended there. But it's just a point where Teen was not having it, and he was trying to play the righteous person, but Agatha was saying, I know who you are, I know your true nature, and basically Teen got very upset that she was saying all these very ungrateful and toxic things to him. And so what happened was that he really got angry and pissed off at Agatha and buried her in the soil along with Lilia and Jen. Before then, Lilia and Jen was under the spell of Teen, and they pushed Agatha into this quicksand. And so then Lilia and Jean was also in the quicksand as well. Then toward the end, we see the crown that was very similar to the Scarlet Witch. So it really confirms the fact that this is going to be Billy Kaplan, who is Wanda Maximoff's son. And that pretty much ends the story. And like I said, this was a really fast episode. I was really enthralled with all the visuals and all the plot lines. And when the credits rolled with Billie Eilish's song, I was like, that's it. So those are my thoughts about episode 5 of Agatha All Along. We would like to hear what you have to say about the episode. Please comment down below. Like, share, subscribe for more content like this. And we will see you in the next one. All right. Take care, everybody.